On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we are talking all about the brand new Star Trek Picard trailer, as well as Prodigy 108, Time Amok, right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, the podcast where you get to listen in on the continuing Star Trek conversation that two lifelong friends have been having since they were 6 years old. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I'm David C. Robertson.
Dave, how you doing today, bud?
I don't know.
I'm pretty good. I threw my back out, which is weird. Because you're the one with the back problems.
Yeah, I was about to say welcome to my everyday.
Yeah, I know. I'm normally the spry, flexible fellow, you know. That's how everyone thinks of me.
Yeah, no, that's not. But okay. You live your truth, buddy.
I will. But it's a pretty shitty feeling. But you know what? It's not a shitty feeling. A new Picard trailer, my friend.
I was going to say $6 pizza from Walmart.
That is also not a shitty feeling. I mean, later it's a shitty feeling.
Depends on how much you eat at one time.
The entire thing, as is written in the scriptures.
You're doing it wrong.
Oh, man.
That was a Catholic edition.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, what do you think? So we got a new Picard trailer. I guess was this part of some sort of big event, or was this just a drop?
As far as I know, it was just a drop, but I'm not a good fan. I don't keep up with, the other day someone was like, it's 1701 day. It's official 1701 day. And I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. That people add little geek culture holidays to the calendar every year. And I don't know. I don't know most of them. Yeah,
I don't. I'm aware of First Contact Day.
Yeah.
And usually about midway to the end of the day, somewhere in there, I remember, oh yeah, this is the day that Star Trek premiered back in September or whatever. That's fine. That's fine. I'm horrible at that kind of stuff.
Yeah, same. I'm much worse than you. The reason I asked you is because you normally know these things more than I do. But anyway, we got a new Picard trailer. It's a lot more in it than in the previous trailer. It's a lot more flashes of things and a little less contiguous. Like, here's the storyline. Just a ton of flashes of what's going on in their future, what's going on in their past. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. It's pretty neat. Or we'll put a link in the show notes to check it out if you like. It looks like this time travel thing is happening for sure. They're in some sort of dark universe that is different than theirs. Q says the road not taken. So when he said that, right around when he said that, they showed a picture of the Enterprise in the middle of a battle, like a painting.
Yes, but that Enterprise looks like it's splintered into different frames and looks like different parts, different ships. Because there's a part of the Seltzer section where I swear it looks like the Enterprise E. It looks like it has been divided and is splintered off.
Interesting. That's in that painting?
Yeah.
Interesting. To me, it just looked like it was in battle, but I haven't freeze framed and tried to look at it closely. That's interesting. Yeah. So based on that picture, I thought this was going to be the effects of something he had done. Does that make sense? Or something they had done on the Enterprise D.
Yeah.
But then it looks like the origins of this, whatever this different future is, happened sometime in 2024, they're saying. And then they've got some Vulcans meeting a child in the woods and mind melding. Yeah.
And Q giving some sort of looks like a blue bullet to, I would assume, one of Song's ancestors.
Right. Yeah. So we've got an appearance by Brent Spiner as what appears to be one of Sung's ancestors. It's a lot going on here, and it all sounds super interesting. It's all things I'd like to see in an episode of Star Trek. But I don't know. I'm hung up on Picard because I think it's such a neat thing that we're getting Patrick Stewart back for these seasons, and they planned 3 seasons. But I want them to like. It has the same problem that Discovery has, where it's like when you commit to this overarching plot in Star Trek, like that idea better be good, and I just don't know yet if this idea is good or not.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't know, but
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm still excited for it. I'm really interested to see what they're doing with the Enemy Within reference. I don't know if you noticed that. There's the shot where Seven is looking into the hexagon mirror and like touching her face. It's almost exactly the same shot as Kirk when he's transported in the Enemy Within, and there's a transporter double that's evil, and one of them is all evil and one of them is all, I guess, good, even though like you need both to survive. So in that episode, Bad Kurt gets scratched by Yeoman Rand, and he looks in this like hexagon mirror and touches his face, and it's almost the exact same shot as Seven looking in that mirror, touching her face where her implant used to be.
That's cool. That's real cool.
So I assume it's just this is a dark timeline with, the Enemy Within could be whatever that Vulcan is putting inside of that kid, or, just speaking to our darker natures,
That's interesting. I mean, it also could just be a visual callback. Here's a classic Star Trek shot. Let's replicate it. Or you're right, it could have deeper meaning here.
I would hope so. I don't want to reference just for reference sake.
Oh, no. I
do, but
yeah, you do.
I do prefer to have like deeper implications.
Sure, yeah. We get a lot of the Borg Queen in this episode. There's a really creepy shot where Jurati is like on the floor trying to scooch back as the Borg Queen appears to be like
scooching forward.
But she looks like she's like crawling across the floor. Like it looks really almost like Ridley Scott's Alien-esque. Yeah. Like just like coming around the console, looking really creepy. I'm digging that.
I am too, man. I'm very interested in what Guinan has to say, where she says, what you seek is not the stars, it never has been.
Right? What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I keep going back to TNG. There is this statement that, there's this implication that Picard is going to go and do things that he's never could have imagined, and that he has a greater destiny than just being a starship captain, essentially. So, that was tied with Q and Guinan. So I don't. Man, and I love that Q and Guinan are in the same season again, because I'm like, there's all this stuff about their history that we never got the story on. And
for sure.
Man, I hope they give us the story.
I know it, man.
So many lost plot threads from TNG they just ignored.
And that is one that's... And they're there together. Hopefully we actually get a scene with them together, or some explanation at least, as to their like origins or their past or their history, whatever. Yeah, that'd be super rad.
So I'm just really happy it looks like a lot more than just a Star Trek 4 time travel season.
Yeah. This trailer's got me a lot more excited than the last trailer did.
Yeah, the last trailer seemed to be relying heavily upon that trope, and I just don't care.
Yeah. The idea of doing that same Star Trek 4 thing again bored me. But the idea of doing that combined with this, like, I don't know, some idea of like there being it looks like maybe an over-militaristic society. That sounds pretty interesting. And then the idea, like he wakes up and he looks up and it looks like the Earth is covered with these hexagonal force fields. It looks like they're maybe turned to sort of a protectionism. And then like Guinan being involved makes it more interesting. The Borg Queen being involved makes it more interesting. Like just all these sorts of things that are in this trailer that we hadn't seen before are making this whole thing seem a lot more Like, there's a lot more going on here. And it seems a lot more tied in with, I mean, the Borg Queen, Picard, Brent Spiner returning, getting to meet the ancestor of Soong, like all of that combined, it seems like a lot more essential elements of the Picard story are in this trailer than just like, hey, let's do this Star Trek 4 thing again. Yep. Or even the, what was it? I can't remember the name of the episode, the Voyager episode where they go back to 96. Yeah. They've done it a number of times. We've discussed it, but yeah, like they seem like they're always doing that. I mean, and I think it seems based on the idea that like that's one of the most classic episodes is City on the Edge of Forever, which is the same thing, It's not like City on the Edge of Forever. They went back to like the Depression era, not the 60s. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the idea that you see, the future has changed, we have to go back. I'm talking about the plot line, not the exact going back to the time. Sorry, but yes, you're right. They do that as well. In my head, it makes it vastly different which I guess it is because it is the same because City on the Edge of Forever was literally the Andy Griffith sets. So they could just use something from their time without worrying about it, but to me, it just feels like, Star Trek 4, they went back to the 60s because that's easy, like sure.
They always go back to the time frame that we're from, so they don't have to worry about changing the locations.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm more talking about, so there's a couple of plot lines that, and it's actually,
yeah, I know what you mean though.
When this plot line got old to me was Heroes. You remember the show Heroes? And this is not exactly the same thing, but it's so close to the same thing that it's always bothered me. Heroes, every season, they did it in the first season, and it was like, interesting hook for the first season. They showed a flash of the future, and it was like a desolate wasteland. And the entire season is them trying to change that future. Let me tell you what I do remember, like how much I remember Heroes. 2 nights ago, I'm at Walmart looking for a certain kind of crouton. And when I couldn't find it, and then I was moving around bags, and I found one bag. And when I saw it, I grabbed it and went, Yatta! Hero. Love it. Well, so there's that. So that's what I mean. Like that plot line that Heroes did over and over. They did it in first season. It seemed like it was hey, this is interesting, intriguing. Then they continued to do it in season 2 and season 3, I think. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, this. And then I started the show Runaways, and Runaways does the same thing. And it's just like, God, come on. I really just get tired of that. Like, we need stakes. So what are stakes? Let's show the world destroyed and then have to backtrack and figure out what happened. Like, I get really tired of it. So that's what I'm talking about when I say the same plot line. This is that plot line, which is the same as all those other Star Trek episodes we mentioned. One thing from the trailer here that I don't know what's going on, and it's probably the quickest thing in the trailer. At 1:37, there's a dude behind Picard with white eyes. He has a large forehead, almost looks Klingon-esque to me. But I don't think he's a Klingon. He kind of has that look to him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to pull it back up. Let me see.
Yeah, it's a super fast shot. I noticed it on the third watch here. And so I had to freeze frame it and look back. But what is this? 137.
137. Let's look at that.
I had to slow it down to pause it right because it's so fast.
Oh yeah, what is that guy?
Right? Yeah, he happens so fast in the trailer. I didn't see him when I watched it the first couple times. Yeah, some guy with completely white eyes, no pupils.
Smooth head.
Yeah, smooth. His forehead's so tall, I thought it was a Klingon for a second. But you're right, probably not a Klingon.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a creepy looking bastard. Huh?
Really creepy looking. So yeah, there's a lot going on here we don't even know yet.
Maybe he's this timeline's Picard.
You did say smooth head.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the deal with this timeline? Like, you went to a more like fate explanation for Guinan saying the thing about how your fate was never in the stars or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Or what you seek or whatever.
What you seek is not in the stars. That made me think of the episode directly after Best of Both Worlds when he comes home.
Yeah.
Because that whole episode is all about him and his brother talking about like who they wanted to be when they were children. And, and, you know, kind of what you're looking for. And he's always been looking for sort of a family and a place. And he's never really fit in anywhere because even on the Enterprise, while he was really definitely doing what he's supposed to be doing, being the captain of the Enterprise, it's still like he never found a family until that very end, you know, very end of that season. He's like just trying to reach out and make his family happen, you know? So it's interesting to me. The idea that he always thought that his answers were in the stars, his like, you know, the things he saw were in the stars, even in that episode after Best of Both Worlds, even after he's, you know, had the worst experience of his life, being turned into a Borg, he's still like, you know, that's my home up there, you know, given that idea of him as the child who was always looking up at the stars and that's what he was going to go do. And that's what he always dreamed of. Like, your answers aren't in the stars is an interesting twist on that. Like, is his answer back on Earth? I don't know. Or is what he's looking for back on Earth?
I think Picard's. I think the appropriate conclusion would be that the answers aren't out there; is in here, inside he's inside of himself. Is more of an a personal journey, not a, you know, an external adventure as much as it is, you know, some sort of deep philosophical bullshit.
I don't know if that's how they'd put it. The creators of the show would put it, but yeah, maybe.
No. I mean, the guy sits around drinking tea all day and contemplating shit. I mean, we know where his adventure is.
Your adventure is in the Earl Grey, sir.
He has to explore the space inside.
Gosh. Let's stay away from all the jokes there. March 3rd, that's super soon, man. That's going to be what a great month for TV. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I mean, we just got like a wealth of stuff this year. Peacemaker's killing it right now, and then we've got
it is very good,
so good. And then March 3rd we've got Picard season 2, and then March 30th we've got Moon Knight. Like, man, just what a year for television. What a 3-month period for television.
Yep, we're gonna have Strange New Worlds pretty soon.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna have more Lower Decks. Yeah. It's going to be a busy year for the podcastings.
Get some pork cracklings and do some podcasting.
Those things don't mix.
You're right. There's two sides of me, but I'm sorry, Dave. I need both. I need the pork crackling side and the podcasting side. One is good, one is evil. But
actually, you know, pork cracklings, high in protein.
They are, yeah, actually.
Low in carbs. Like, they're really not bad.
They're pretty filling for the number of calories. Yeah, they're actually, if you're on like a low carb diet, they're a pretty good snack to be. They're one of the only things you can eat in a gas station or whatever. I don't like them. I'm just joking. I don't know. You said podcastings, and it reminded me of the phrase of pork cracklings for some reason. But I actually don't like them. But when I've been on certain diets, I have definitely utilized them as a protein source.
Yeah,
because they're way less carbs than the beef jerky and stuff.
Yeah, you'll lose weight fast snacking on friggin' pork rinds, man.
All right, so any other thoughts about the Picard trailer before we move on to talk about the Prodigy?
I don't think so. So far, I'm kind of feeling like Cristobal is not really going to be utilized too much here, but we'll see.
Wait, who's Cristobal? Is that
That's the captain of the La Serena.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I haven't even seen Rafi.
Was she not in the trailer?
I didn't see her.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look. Yeah, she definitely was in it. It seems like it's really focusing down on Picard, Girardi. I feel like it used the captain a good bit in the trailer.
We saw him, fighting some people. Yeah,
we saw him fighting some people. We saw him on the ship multiple times, flying the ship. So I feel like he was in it a good bit. Girardi was in it a good bit. Seven was in it a lot. But yeah, you're right. Rafi was not shown much, which makes me wonder, like, is something up with Rafi that they're not revealing yet or something like that?
I'm wondering if it ties into the No Man's Land thing. I don't know if you listened to the episode where I just kind of gave some news, but they're releasing an audio adventure that's got Jerry Ryan and Michelle Hurd in it. And it's about Seven and Rafi and a Fenris Rangers adventure kind of thing. It's an audio thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people who listen to this like audio, so check it out. I have not listened to that episode yet, so yeah, that's cool. I'm going to check it out.
Bastard.
I'm sorry. Actually, didn't know you dropped it. You mentioned you might do one, but I didn't know you dropped it yet. Sorry, Davey.
I'm betrayed. It hurts my heart hole.
Oh, man. Okay, so we're going to move on to Prodigy now? Does that sound good?
Yeah, man.
So, guys, if you're listening to this for the Picard trailer and you have not checked out Prodigy yet, Star Trek Prodigy is the new animated series from Nickelodeon, also on Paramount Plus. It is some of the best. It's the best first season of Star Trek I've ever seen.
I honestly think it's the best Star Trek that has come out in this new era. I think it's consistently the best thing.
I agree with that. I do. I really do. I think it's the best thing so far. It is obviously not going to be everyone's taste. Some people have a bent against animation. I have a harder time connecting with animation, and it is definitely intended for an audience, a younger audience, but it's really freaking good. And it has everything I need as an adult to really enjoy it. There's nothing, there's like interesting moral questions. There's a great adventure. There's really funny stuff, like actually funny stuff that's funny to me, not just funny to kids. So if you've been avoiding it because it's kind of like a kids show, don't go check it out. It's so freaking good. We've been covering it every week. And it's really been one of the most fun shows. It's so good.
Yeah. And it's got like real emotional stakes.
Oh yeah, for sure. And this episode we're about to talk about, yeah, like I'm impressed they went where they went for the emotional stakes. Like some really intriguing emotional stuff.
I'm very pleased, by the way, that it doesn't feel like they are dumbing anything down for kids.
Me too. And that's so important because I feel like a lot of my being raised and understanding of the world came from watching, or the universe came from watching Star Trek and shows like it that sort of explore these concepts. And this one's really, really good. It's finally doing that thing where it doesn't feel like it's separating it to the point that like adults and kids can't enjoy it and kids can actually learn and grow. Like it always has a moral, but it's not like a campy moral. Like it's really well done. Like it's made me want to cry multiple times. It's so freaking good.
Yep. And this episode was no exception.
This episode definitely made me cry. So this episode is called Time Amok. I should also mention this. The show also makes tons of great references to older Star Trek that if you're an older Star Trek fan, you'll love it. You just love it. It's great.
But not in a ham-fisted way that makes you go, ugh. It's not like a Lower Decks situation. Like I love Lower Decks, but they are just very on the nose with it.
Sometimes it's on the nose. I mean, there was if you haven't listened to anything else we've talked about on this stuff, there is an episode. There's a great episode, not to spoil, but I guess spoiler alert. There's a great episode where they actually get on the holodeck and have a like adventure with old crew members, and it's and uses old
archive audio.
Audio. Yeah, it's super fun. Super fun. So it's got a lot for the Star Trek fan on top of being great for kids and everybody. But this episode is called Time Amok. And it is an episode where there's a problem on the ship. They're going near a tachyon storm, which you know what tachyons mean.
Yeah, they are honoring the old tradition, the Star Trek tradition of flying your ship directly into a dangerous nebula, even though you've got 3-dimensional space to go around it.
Sometimes you gotta take the shortcuts. Anyway, they go into this tachyon storm, and it causes the ship to be separated, and each person is existing on the ship, but in a time, they're all time displaced, and time is running at different speeds for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Janeway hologram has to bounce between the different characters and try to help them to fix the ship and teach them the importance of working together while not being together.
Mm-hmm.
And the sadness of being alone, which is bearing the lead here. But the thing that really kills me is Rock spends a long time by herself.
Yeah, I was in search of trying to find, I was in search of the actual number of years that she was stuck by herself. And the general consensus seems to be based on Jacob Pogg's timeline and the way his time was moving. If you invert it, then that means Rock was alone for 6 to 10 years. Because there are some numbers on a screen while Janeway's talking. So some nerdier Star Trek fans who are much smarter than me started tabulating. But remember, poor little squelpy thing. What is he called?
Murph.
Murph. He was longer. He was alone for longer.
Yeah, I thought about that, which is crazy. But I guess Murph is just a Murph and it doesn't matter. Is this kind of the implication of this episode?
I don't know. Dude's resilient.
Yeah, Murph seems very resilient. Yeah, I actually got really sad for Murph when I realized that. I was like, oh man, I was sad for Rock, but Murph was even longer.
Yeah.
Poor Murph.
That great scene. It was sad, but it was also really funny when Janeway time displaces to the longest. And she's like, okay, where's the member of the it's Murph, and he's like vomiting up a piece of equipment, and she's like, Well,
I guess the good thing is they didn't show it, but I guess the implication is Janeway might have stayed with him a long time.
Yeah, maybe so. But
he couldn't do anything to help her, but maybe she didn't leave him alone. The only reason Rock is left alone is because Rock turns off the Janeway hologram.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. Rock would have been the longer one because she goes to Rock first.
Does she? I thought she went to Jacob Pog first.
No, she goes to Jacob Pog, then Rock, then someone else who happens really fast. Zero, right?
Yeah, Zero.
She goes to Jacob Pog first, then Zero, who happens. No. Because Murph definitely happens after Zero, because Zero is the one that gives her the schematics.
Oh, okay.
And then she sees Murph, and then jumps to. I have to look at that diagram again because now I'm a little confused because now it seems like because Jacob Pog and Zero both happen very fast, but they say they alternate, so that doesn't really make sense. Oh no, that's what it is. It's Jacob Pog, then Rock. Then Zero, then Murph.
I think so.
And then Gwen, then Dahl, then back to Rock.
Okay.
And I guess Dahl's just hanging out is why he's also closest to normal time. He's getting closest back to normal time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really fun episode, man. It's imaginative, it's cool. 6 to 10 years seems like possible, but that seems also insane to put the character through that.
Well, I mean, she did say that she was more mature, but she hasn't aged, and she did master several things, like taught herself different maths and stuff.
Yeah, she learned like astrophysics and stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully, this was like an exercise in the writers saying, okay, we've reached a point with Rock where this is going to start getting annoying and not cute. We need to change this up and make her a more confident character. Also, if she was, alone for 6 to 10 years, that would effectively, maturity level wise, age her up with the rest of the crew. She seemed quite a bit younger than the rest of them mentally. So,
yeah, I guess that's true. And a lot of this was also her pushing back on the idea that even though in the very first episode, Dahl looks at her and thinks she's like a lumbering beast, right? And we all assume that. And then when we hear her voice, we go, oh, no, she's just a little girl in a huge body. But they continue to call her the security officer. And it's just because she's big. She doesn't want to be pigeonholed into this thing that she doesn't really want to be.
And now it looks like she's a science officer.
Yeah, which is great. I love it. Because it's an extension of that moment in the first episode when you realize she's a little girl. Even though Dahl realizes she's not this lumbering beast, he still thinks of her as like it's just a great extension of that, and shows like, I don't know, how long it can take to let something sink in like that.
By the way, I did pay attention this week, and it's Dal, like Mal Reynolds, Dal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I've been wondering every week when we're trying to say it. I'm like, I didn't pay attention again.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was Dahl, but yeah, that makes sense. I wonder how is it spelled? Is it D-A-H-L? I thought it was D-A-H-L.
It's D-A-L.
Oh, okay.
Again, like Mal.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought Dahl then, if that's how they're saying it. Cool.
Probably because of that like Raoul Dahl guy.
Maybe so. We also get a little attack from the Diviner this episode, which is sort of a departure from the rest of the plot line because it only affects Gwen's timeline only.
Appropriately.
Absolutely.
It was creepy hearing Chakotay's voice coming out of Dead Knock.
Yeah, it was.
I'm seeing a lot of people on my timeline going like, oh my god, Chakotay is Dreadnought, and he was transformed into the robot creature. I'm like, guys.
Haven't you seen the Terminator?
Like, Data also spoke with Picard's voice. That doesn't mean that. I mean, what kind of now he is, but Picard did become Data in the end.
See, all those people were right. Data was Picard all along.
Yep. I just proved myself wrong. I guess I've got to go walk away and find a potato peeler to take to my dick.
Oh gosh.
It's part of my punishment, Matt.
All right. Well, I'm sitting here as we're talking, watching this episode in the background, and just this, it's just so sad. Just there's just so much like heartbreak watching Rock be alone. She's like talking to all the crew members that aren't there. She's cuddling with a Murph doll that she's made for herself. She's watching the holo recording of their holodeck adventure from the beginning of the episode. It's just heartbreaking, just utterly heartbreaking. And then she comes back to the crew and she's just like taught herself all of this stuff and has solved the problem that she needed to solve. So good. Yeah. So good, man.
Which I wonder how it works, because like in the beginning of the episode when we saw Rock, like her covers, everything was moving super slowly because time was moving slower. So, but in the holodeck, it looked like everything was running normally.
Well, at one point, Janeway says specifically that she can adapt the speed of. She says that she can adapt her speed to talk to them. So I would assume that works the same way on the holodeck. She's probably like increased speed of the holodeck to match whatever.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I failed again.
I think he says it to Zero. She says something like, luckily my holo matrix has adapted to act at your speed so that I can speak to each of you or whatever.
But yeah, I'm also thinking like that means that as Rock is trying to fix Janeway's program and doing anything in the computer, she's also like basically the Flash. Because she does seem to be moving normally, so it seems like she's probably going super fast.
Right. Yes. So the Rock is the Flash, and so like, but it is weird because they seem to not be able to see each other or interact with each other. So I don't know if they're just so out of phase, I guess, or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of convenience here. They don't really fully explain, because if they were moving very slowly and they're all in the same ship, Rock should still actually be able to see them moving. You know what I mean? She should be like speeding by as they're just like slowly moving through the hallway or whatever.
I'm not smart enough to figure out what's going on. I don't quite understand, because I would think that if everyone else was moving faster than Rock, then she wouldn't even see them, period. Like, it would seem to me like she would not even be able to perceive them.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. I was thinking of it backwards. See? There okay. No, wait. No. Because she's moving super fast. Her world is going super slow, which means... Yeah. Like, if she saw Doll, they would be moving around her very slowly. They just decided to make that decision because, like, say it takes, 10 minutes for you to walk across the ship, but it takes her 6 years. She would be like seeing you for 6 years, taking that one walk down the hallway. Yeah. But they just chose to like make it so that they're not interacting at all. They can't see each other.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, he was pretty much just in his room the whole time.
Right, but I'm assuming she would, if she's there for 6 years, she's probably explored the whole ship and done all kinds of things.
Yeah. All kinds of things.
So, all right. Well, that's about all I got to say about that. What do you got? Anything else for that episode of Prodigy?
I don't think so. They did. I thought it was interesting that they did say that the start date was 607125.6, and they said that they gave the start date an unusual number as a hint that time was being distorted. Like Janeway's temporal settings were already being affected by the approaching tachyon storm.
Interesting. Okay. Also, have we gotten start dates before on this show?
I don't know.
I'm just curious because have they standardized those? I know at some different points in Star Trek they're used differently and not always consistently.
I'm one of the fans that pays attention to how many dorsal fins are on the nacelles. I don't know about star dates.
Okay. Sorry, wrong type of fan. If you're a Stardate fan, reach out and let us know what the Stardates mean. I think they've fixed the Stardates now, so they supposedly the new ones are proper for whatever that means. So if they've used Stardates other than this one, so it'd be funny if this is the only one they used a Stardate, and then they were like, yeah, but it's a weird Stardate because it's a tachyon storm, the fans that are paying attention might be like, we can finally figure out when this show occurs, and then nope, you can't, you're in a tachyon storm, sorry.
Yeah, she's
on the fritz.
What's that Rhett and Link commercial where it's like, this a bear? Nope, just so and so. It was like there's this. They used to do Brett and Link used to do commercials, local commercials for different people. And there's this. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like for a guy who was a taxidermist, and it would be people like reacting to a horrible bear or a hawk or something. They're like, it's a hawk. And then it would just be like him holding like a taxidermied hawk. And he's like, nope, it's just so-and-so. He's just like hiding behind a tree with like a stuffed hawk. I don't know.
That's weird. I like it.
Something you said reminded me of that.
I literally don't even remember.
When you were like, nope, she's on the fritz.
I got you.
That's what it was. Sorry.
Weird aside. I didn't know they did that. That's fun. Red and Link are pretty funny. They're not exactly my kind of humor, but I respect I respect the kind of content creators they are. I listen to their podcast a good bit, and it's just kind of interesting. It's so interesting listening to the kinds of content creators that are out in the world now. It's just so weird because someone can be like so very famous, but also have such a normal life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because like you make all your own stuff in your own house and your own, like here in Rhett and Link talk, they're just like talking about going to dinner with their families, and they just seem like pretty normal dudes. Yeah. But they're also like trying to make a movie happen or like whatever that week, you know?
No.
It's real fun.
I think my favorite commercial of theirs, local commercial that they did, was the Red House commercial, where it was born out of the fact that they were like talking to the owner about, oh, so what's your furniture about? Your furniture business? What's the point? And well, it's a good place to shop for a white person.
Oh gosh,
or a black person. That's what the guy said. He's like, it's a good place to shop for a white person or a black person. And they just thought that was hilarious, that's where his mind went. So that's the whole commercial. Whereas like, you know, like a white guy would be like, this comforter would, or this bed would be perfect for a white person. And then like a black guy walks up and goes, or a black person.
Oh, wow.
And then it like cuts to them singing, at the Red House where white people and black people buy furniture.
That's a very funny way to interpret it in the end. But the way you initially read it sounded like the guy like changed his mind. He's like, it's a great place to buy furniture for white people. I mean, also black people. Like this.
It's just so, it's real weird.
It's really, really strange. That is a very funny, the end result is very funny though. Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We're Star Trek Universe. We'll be back here very soon with more Star Trek episodes. Prodigy is about to wrap up for the second third of the season, right? Or something like that.
It's run of 5 episodes is almost over, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's weirdly, they're sprinkling it throughout the whole year, which is kind of cool. Like if I were a kid, I'd be enjoying that sort of like, it's something to look forward to. It's cool.
Yeah.
But then we got Picard coming in March 3rd, man. Woo. That's like so freaking soon. We'll be back. Peace.
Joel on true and live long and prosper.
You know, this whole double episode thing about 2 episodes messed me up.
Joel on true and live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.